everyone. In this video, we're going to be going over how to remove recipes based off of a variety of criteria, which we'll get to. But first, I would like to share my server hosting partner, BisectHosting. This is a great service. You can have server hosting for over 70 games, which, as you can see here, besides Minecraft, there's a lot of games that you can host. You can also pre-install many Minecraft mod packs automatically. So all the popular ones that you and your friends play, this is a very good service for that. In addition, it has 24/7, 365 support for troubleshooting your server and mods. I can particularly attest to this because I also use this. I've used this server hosting platform before I became a partner, and I still do because I also use this personally with small servers for my friends, and this is a very useful service for helping you out if there's something that you can't quite figure out what's wrong. They always respond within an hour. A lot of times they respond within 15 minutes, so they're very useful. And then also full file access, so you can mess around with your plugins, config files, things like that. You can also host it from 20 locations around the world, so from the US, Europe, etc. It also provides advanced DDoS protection to protect you. So again, overall, this is a great platform, great service. I highly recommend. Please check out my affiliate link in the description to check it out in more detail, because there's plenty of information on this site that is useful. But now let's get to the recipes. So to start off with here, the basic format is event.remove, and then inside the parentheses or curly brackets that specify a certain condition. So just having event.remove with no condition will get rid of all recipes, but I'm sure you don't want to do that. But this is where the conditions come in. So first of all, you can filter by output item. So I have two examples here. Again, it's event.remove, regular parenthesis, curly brackets, output, that's the keyword for this, colon, and then the ID. So in this case, we're removing all recipes that give redstone. So this is from all means, crafting, smelting, or blasting. This is an overall blanket for anything that allows you to obtain redstone in terms of crafting. Obviously, you can still mine redstone ore and get redstone from this, because that's a loot table thing, which will be covered in a different video. But also you can do things by tag. So again, the pound key represents the tag. So in this case, we're removing all recipes that give anything under the stained glass pane tag. So red stained glass pane, orange stained glass pane, and etc. All 16 of them. Next, you can filter by input item. So the keyword for this is input. Again, similar, it's the same form. All these are the same format, but there's different keywords. So input is the keyword for this. Line 10 here removes all recipes that have a gold nugget as an input. So this includes golden carrot, a gold ingot, a gold melon or glistening melon, etc. You can also use the concept of tag here for this. So event.remove, input, gems, and notice the pound key again. So this removes all recipes that have an input under the gems tag. So gems include diamonds, emeralds, etc. So you won't be able to craft an emerald block, you won't be able to craft diamond armor, anything like that with this event enabled. You can also just remove by mod. So for example, here I put create. Remember what the mod is. So with the rest of these IDs, notice you have the mod name colon the item. So the mod name is this. So if we would want to remove everything from vanilla, you would just put Minecraft. But for this example, I put create. Next, you can also filter by ID. So an ID is a specific way of crafting a particular item. So, for example, that should say gold. We are removing the way to obtain gold ingot from a gold block. So if this was the only event on the script, you would be able to craft gold ingots by smelting, be able to craft gold ingots by crafting gold nuggets. But this removes the specific recipe of decompressing gold block into 9 ingots. I'll show you in game later about how you find out what an ID is, because that's kind of important if you don't want to look into the mod's GitHub. Another example here, stick from bamboo. So there's 2 recipes for a stick, so, right? In 1.20.1, you can obtain sticks from crafting gold, not gold, any type of planks. You can also obtain them from bamboo. So I decided to remove that bamboo recipe. So that's a specific ID. You will be able to. You still can craft sticks with oak planks, for example. You can also filter by type of crafting, right? So, for example, I removed all stone cutting recipes, which may be a little much, but for the purposes of this video, that was a good example to do since I don't have another stone cutting example. So there's also crafting, furnace, etc. This is something that, especially if you're working with mods, definitely take a look at the mod's GitHub and under the recipes, and it will say the type in the JSON files. I've used that a lot in modpack development. Next, we're going to talk about OR filters. So you can perform an OR by putting filters into an array like this. So, for example, I want to remove blasting or smelting recipes that give a gold ingot. Right? So we have smelting and blasting, and then output gold ingot. So you can chain things together, right? And that's demonstrated in AND, right? So you can perform AND by putting multiple criteria into one filter. So it would probably make more sense to put AND first, but that's okay. For this example, you can remove all smelting recipes for copper ingots. So you can, if you just had output copper ingots, that would remove decompressing a copper block into copper ingots and things like that. But here specifically, we want to remove the smelting recipe for copper ingot. So you can still do the crafting recipe, you can still do the blasting recipe, etc. Lastly, you can perform a NOT by using a subfilter. So as you can see here, I want to remove all recipes that grant iron ingots other than smelting recipes. So with this, this is a little different than this one. With here, you're still able to get iron ingots by smelting, but that's it. No crafting from nuggets, no decompressing from blocks, etc., etc. So I hope this was informative. But let's go in game here and let's check it out. Again, this is a server script, so to make sure that the script is loaded, we want to do KubeJS reload server scripts. And once we're done, we do reload. It'll take a second. Reload with no KubeJS errors. So let's briefly summarize this. Let's look at Redstone first. As you can see here, I'm clicking left click and I'm also clicking R. Nothing's happened. If I click on Redstone repeater and I try to click on dust, no recipe, because all recipes that give redstone dust are removed. Next, let's take a look at the glass pane. You can still get the regular glass pane because that's not under that tag, but the others are white, gray, blue, purple, red, yellow, etc. You can't craft any of them because the tag encompasses all those items. Next, let's take a look at input. So our gold nugget example. As you can see here, you can't craft anything with gold nuggets. So for example, golden carrots, uncraftable. Gold ingots, uncraftable. Well, mainly because of the other scripts, but we'll get to that in a second. Okay, now let's take a look at gems. So that's emerald, for example. Can't craft emerald block. And diamond. Can't craft any armor or tools. Okay, next let's talk about the specific IDs. So for example here, again, there's other recipes. So let me just take a look at oak planks, for example, or oak wood. If you hover over the output of a recipe, you can see the item ID, but you can also see the recipe ID. A lot of the times they're the same, but if I can find, yeah, here we go. So there's two ways of crafting a magenta carpet, for example, two different IDs. So this ID happens to be the same as the item ID, but this one is different, right? Minecraft dye magenta carpet. So I've personally used ID a lot in modpack development because you can remove very specific recipes that you don't have to take much time figuring out a way to do it. You can just put that specific ID there and move on. Next, let's do by type. All right. I don't know why I put that typed in type, but so we can craft our stone cutter, but there's no stone cutter recipes because I removed them all. Next, as I showed before, gold ingot. There's no blasting or smelting recipe because I'm clicking on the recipe, but nothing happens. Now let's take a look at copper ingots. As you can see here, the smelting recipe is gone. You can still decompress and you can still blast, but you can't smelt. Lastly, let's take a look at iron ingots. As you can see here, you can only get them by smelting this time. It's the opposite of the copper example. So smelting is the only thing that works. No crafting or blasting. So I hope this short video was a good overview of how to use that particular remove event. If you have any questions, let me know. If there's any more examples you want me to go through, I would be happy to make another video on this. But otherwise, appreciate your time watching this video and have a good day.